just that pleasant like clunk, and it's edited. So this is new from XP Pen, and thanks to them so much for sending this out for review, the XP Pen Pilot Pro. I guess this is intended for people who are using drawing tablets mainly, but it is a controller for creative professionals. And on the side, it talks about, well, we've got Windows or Mac supported platforms, wired, wireless or Bluetooth, and it says video editing or photo editing is the sort of main intended use case. So let's get that out and have a little look. Now, video editing is certainly my main creative activity that I do. I don't actually have an XP Pen drawing tablet currently, but I have used them before. And I think that these things are quite nice. Things to have macro keys enabled for your left hand, whilst your right hand draws, for example, or of course the other way around if you're a lefty. Certainly comes in a nice case. I guess if it was to go along with a laptop for your creative endeavors on the go. It's funny that, I suppose that does make more sense to open up that way. And there we go, that is a really nicely designed thing. I mean, that is incredibly tactile, just lovely. I think there's some bits of plastic on there, a little D-pad at the bottom there. I think one thing that we'll see once we've got it up and running, this is not a lovely, satisfying plastic tear off though. It's actually really annoying and finicky, this little bit of plastic. Turn it on, not sure what the 1 and 2 mode button there does just yet. Really attractive thing. All that haptic feedback is nice. Oh, every time you rotate the wheel, there's a little bit of haptic feedback. Then in here, you've got a wire with a direct USB-C to USB-A connector, a USB-A to C connector, or just a wireless dongle. So let's just see if I plug in the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. It's just recognized straight away. Not moving anywhere with those rubbery feet. I know certain reviewers who are going to love those rubber feet. Designed to be over here on your left hand side, so your keyboard would be in the middle. They're not trying to interrupt the mouse workflow that you're used to. And I guess for video editing, keyboard in the middle. I'm already very set with what I do with my left hand on video editing. So it'll be interesting to see whether this actually can improve things or not. So what happens with me on video editing, I've got these all set up to be forwards, backwards, stop, slice, trim to right hand, trim to left hand, and then delete. So actually, this should be okay for jog forward. And then some of these buttons are gonna need to become slice. I can slice with the button on top maybe. This could be normal speed, this could be fast scrub. That'll probably be volume, I suppose. We'll see what the defaults are. And then these buttons will be trim to next and trim to previous. And yeah, we'll see what else I need from them. I'll give that a go. That's going to be interesting to see how easy I find that. You've got a total of 4 buttons on the side here. 4 more here for your thumb. Small wheel there. Wheel on top, D-pad on top as well, it looks like as well. No, that's just whole joystick in the middle there. Click button on the top there. I'm not sure if these are buttons or if that's just an indication to go down, up, down, left, right. And then a D-pad at the bottom as well. Very cool. Pro editing console, £160.90. 15-day battery life, they reckon, 4 hours of daily use. Triple rotating dials, 1, 2, and 3. And then the joystick as well in the middle. So I'm going to install the drivers for it. I'm going to play about with it. And I'll let you know now what I think about it. I like this. I really quite like it. I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting to say I've tried it for review and I can recommend it if you're desperate to use a scroll wheel and a big joystick. Then I thought I'd probably put it back in its box and I'd go back to my ingrained habitual way of using the keyboard and mouse to edit my footage, to edit my videos. And the reason for that is because, well, I've got this really well set up over the 10 years of editing videos in Premiere Pro. I've got my workflow pretty well set up. I've got my keyboard shortcuts such that generally I'm leaving my left hand here on this left hand side of the keyboard in the kind of first person shooter position. And that's obviously very natural from having grown up playing Half-Life and things like that. Now, using this extra device has been a bit of a steep learning curve. Well, that's not fair actually. It has been a learning curve, but actually within a couple of days, I've got pretty used to doing the majority of my editing with it. And in fact, there was a time just the other day where I had a cup of coffee and I noticed that I was carrying on editing with just using one hand. And just for a lot of what I do, which is just these kind of minute move to one very close point in the timeline and just snip out like just a few frames where there's a bit of a pause, where it's just gonna kill the pace of my video, just for doing those really fine edits. I find the two wheels, and I've got the top one set to like coarse, so that jumps like 5 frames at a time, I think, and the bottom one set to just 1 frame at a time. And I find that I can really easily make those little chops. And then I've got the joystick set to down, makes a cut through all of the timeline, and then I can just flick a few frames on, and then joystick left actually cuts the previous edit, joystick right to next edit. And then I've got undo and redo on the bottom forward and backwards buttons, and I've got up and down to move to next edits. I've got zoom in and zoom out on this smaller wheel at the front there. And yeah, then play or fast forward, I can just scrub through my timeline like that and stop it again there where I need to. I've got my 2 most used tools on just there by my thumb, and I've got used to it really quite quickly. And then importantly, I've also got ripple edit, which is just push up. And actually I really like that. Now, although those were all bound to individual buttons here on my lovely mechanical keyboard, I think that it's just one step further in terms of having a really nice analog input when you're working, and actually I really do quite like it. So let's talk about getting it set up and some of the frustrations on the way. And I think that an obvious bit of proof will be whether you continue to see it here on my desk or whether it just gets put away. I mean, I must say though, either way, I'm probably going to clear it out when I do other reviews, as it is just an extra thing on the desk. It's got a good battery life. I haven't had to charge it, and I've probably been used it throughout the week. I'm down to like 29%, but of course you can just plug it in by USB and it will charge up there. So really good things there. I did also wonder whether I could map it to like forwards, backwards, strafe left, strafe right for first person shooters, but it just didn't seem to work. And I also wondered whether actually I could download and get something like Microsoft Flight Sim and use this as just a quick haphazard joystick for that. But no, it's not a real joystick, if that makes sense. What it really is something that has up to 8 inputs, the 8 different corners, and you can set it in either its 4 input mode or 8 input mode. And it recognizes that it's being pushed further just almost by like spamming that virtual key. So if you push it just a little bit, it's going to act like it's pressing a key just repeatedly, and if you push it really far, it's going to act like it's pressed it many times. So it's not a real analog kind of Hall effect joystick or something like that you'd be used to in a good quality control pad. It's really just a set of 8 commands, but it's got a lovely analog feeling to it. Now let's show you just how you would go about making a new preset. You can click here to add preset, or you can look in their presets list. So this little import preset lets you look at the kind of standard presets for only, it seems, 3 different programs there. Or you can go ahead and get more presets from the internet, and you can download all of these presets here. So I've actually started with the XP Pen Premiere Pro preset, and then I've made my changes from there, which that wasn't too bad. But let's say I've made a brand new preset. I can associate that with a program, and what's come up here is the programs that I've got open. So let's say I wanted to make a preset for Chrome. Now, when Chrome is the focused program, that should change the preset, automatically switch it to Chrome. And you can see here now I've got the option to set all these different buttons to do their individual tasks. I can have 8 different tasks if I like, or just 4 on the joystick. I've got all these different buttons, 4 with the thumb on the right, 4 with the fingers on the left, and sort of D-pad on the bottom. This rotating the large dial, the small dial, and the small knob, it's called. The small knob also has a press in button, and the large dial has a press in on top, although the press in on top is called the OK. That's this one. And what that really does in all different situations is bring up this kind of heads up display to remind you what all the different commands are that you've currently got. And then this is a set of 4 capacitive buttons on the joystick that can change theme, or that can be actually set to different things as well. So there's a lot of different buttons on there that you can control. And I recommend that what you'll do is start with a preset and then adapt it from there. I did briefly have an issue whereby I was quite happily using it in Premiere, and then I came back to it later and it wasn't working with Premiere, but that seems to have gone now. It seems like that issue has been cleared up. I think that's when I tried making this kind of first person shooter preset, and then it kind of like randomly jumped to that when I was in the middle of editing in Premiere. So there was that. It doesn't seem to have repeated itself when I've made a new preset. So I'm happy to say that was just a one-off, probably something that I got wrong rather than it got wrong. Now, I have tried something like this before called the Shuttle Express, and it's a similar idea. Look, you've got a fine jog wheel and a coarse jog wheel. This one doesn't go right around, it just sort of flicks left and right, which is quite cool. And then just 5 buttons, and they make a much more serious version. This is the simpler, cheaper version. There's also things by Blackmagic Design. There's things by Logitech, I think, that have this kind of analog input. But this one took all that time to get it set up as well, incidentally, and learn how to use it and change my workflow. The reason why it didn't stick was because these buttons are just this kind of dead press. And when the choice was clicking one of these to do a ripple delete rather than clicking one of these, then I could just tell I'd get repetitive strain injury by keeping clicking these, because there's just it's just a horrible, like, no tactile feel to that at all. And that's why that didn't stick. It didn't speed me up that much. The benefits of using the little analog wheel weren't enough to make me want to use that rather than the keyboard. But I feel like this XP Pen one will. And that's going to be the real telling factor, is like, in a year's time, do I still reach for this, or do I just go back into old habits of using the keyboard shortcuts? A nice thing though will be when I also edit on the move that I can actually pack this away if I want to make myself a little bit more of a workstation wherever I'm traveling. Let's say I'm staying in a place for a few days, or if I want to get it set up. And this is actually good enough to travel with. I feel like this is a real strong recommend if you're someone who is used to using a big editing desk, or maybe you've got one of the larger Blackmagic editing pad things. What do they call it? A DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, which is just like a whole bunch of commands on a kind of mechanical keyboard with a big analog wheel. If you're used to using an analog surface to edit, if you're from the analog days of editing, then I think you'll really get along with this, because it will be more like what you're used to. And the fact that you can then take that with you traveling and you've still got a couple of nice analog wheels, I think that you'll really like. It's just something nice about the way they've made a really analog feel. All of the dials give you a little haptic response as well, and you can tune that as to whether you want that to be a harder or softer or just completely off haptic response as well. It is very ergonomically well designed. It's to be used with your left hand, and I think that you could probably get to a situation where you could edit like this and only very occasionally have to reach for a keyboard or use a right-click menu in your editing software, whether that's Premiere Pro as I use, or any NLE, or any creative program at all. It was definitely a bit frustrating at first, and it's only really when I got over that kind of hump of having to do that kind of triple thing. So I wasn't thinking about the command that I was doing. I was thinking about the command that I was doing and which old keyboard shortcut I had that bound to, and therefore what I'd bound that keyboard shortcut to on the XP Pen. So as soon as I got over that, I was just starting to remember, oh yeah, up for this task, down for this task, and so on and so forth. It was really good. And you can do longer macros on these as well. So if you're somebody who enjoys macro bindings, then you'll find lots of joy with this. And then there is one more gripe, which is that it's just another program to use. And I really do hope that this type of controller becomes quite commonplace, such that you get standard drivers, such that different programs can actually reference these different jog wheels and dials and joysticks within them by default, because at the minute you're having to download the XP Pen driver, run their software to code for it, and yeah, it's just another thing that is a bit frustrating. And that'll be the thing. Do I use it long term, or will there be a day where I'm just like, oh no, that was a bit frustrating. I'll just go back to my standard set of computer inputs that have stood the test of time, let's say, the keyboard and mouse, which hasn't changed for, I don't know, you tell me, maybe 40 years or more, or has only changed very little. But at the minute, I'm very much enjoying it. It's just a pleasant way to work through your timelines. I mean, just that pleasant, like, clunk, and it's edited.